Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. So it's Remembrance Day here in Canada, and I actually didn't want to talk about it, considering I've basically already said my piece on Remembrance Day and what it means to me exactly a year ago, so why rehash that? And I was hopefully going to do something else. But instead, a bunch of bullshit news happened, and so we actually have to talk about it. Out in Kelowna, BC, a anti-vaxxer, she and her husband, or just a small group of them, they brought their own microphone. And at the cenotaph, while, the ceremony was happening, they set up their microphone and began ranting and raving about how vaccines bad on the day of remembrance to remember the fallen soldiers. And then, in other news, apparently there was a suspicious package found on Remembrance Day near the cenotaph in Ottawa, which is why Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Governor General Mary Simon were delayed. You know that shit has gone way too far when Remembrance Day is politicized and there's suspicious packages. I thought it was supposedly something we could all agree on, that, remember the fallen. That was a very big tragedy. Again, see last year's video kind of touching on these points. That should be what's supposed to unite everything together for us, and we can all come together as a nation and mourn, basically. This isn't a celebration. This is a day of mourning for Canada. And people have decided to just completely continue politicizing it, which I absolutely hate. But this is just one of the worst, most egregious examples of it. So I'm going to share the full video, which comes from, I think it's Kelowna Now. So I will also provide a link to their channel below. But without further unfortunate ado, here's the video.
Fighting for the freedom that our soldiers died for. Have you forgotten? You have forgotten. You have forgotten.
This is not the day, woman.
A veteran
It is not about. This is not the age now. Or your freedom. It's not about you.
A veteran once said, if they ask you for your papers, they have already
Not the
forgotten.
right time, not the right place.
I want you to know that Remembrance Day has more significance than all the ones we've had since World War II.
Now, kudos to the vast majority of people there basically denouncing this woman entirely. Also, I want to point out how very Canadian it is not to actually just completely yank the mic away from her and just drag her away. Instead, it's very Canadian sort of passive aggressive. You come up, you say your piece, or someone's trying to, unplug it in the background. That's that classic Canadian non-confrontational. It's kind of sorry, but you're being very disrespectful right now. If you ever want to know Canadian culture, unfortunately, part of it is on showcase here. But the focus is honestly the video, which again, kudos to the people for rightfully dressing down this lady. But there's a second part to the video that I think is very relevant, and it's something we should all take to heart. The second half of the video features a veteran and his thoughts on what happened, including, I think it's probably part of the confrontation as well.
You have the right video, but not this bullshit. This is not bullshit.
This is not bullshit. This is exactly what our soldiers died for. Freedom.
Ask you how you felt when the anti-vax contingent seemed to kind of hijack the ceremony.
I felt that every one of us that came here were violated today. It was interrupted for this bullshit, and you don't need this kind of rhetoric going on or something like that. We're here to remember the people that gave them that freedom, gave them the freedom that they're using, but they're abusing it.
You found that hurtful?
I did find it very hurtful.
That is something that I think we all need to remember. Is, he's talking about, sure, they being the soldiers died for this woman's freedom, but she's abusing it. And that is something that almost never gets talked about. You only ever see the right talk about, oh, it's my freedom to cough in people's face, to go whatever. This is tyranny of the highest order. These people wouldn't have lasted months during World War II and the rationing that went along with it. People love to talk about freedom without recognizing that that comes with responsibility. Sure, I quote unquote have the freedom to drive. It's technically just a privilege, but I can enjoy that privilege until it's revoked if I'm irresponsible with it. I can say and do a great many things, but if that negatively impacts other people and hurts them either physically or mentally, that is on me by being irresponsible. Freedom and responsibility should go hand in hand, but there's unfortunately about 30% of the population in the West that absolutely refuses to make that connection. And unfortunately, we need to hear it from a veteran on what's supposed to be a very solemn day that was unfortunately, again, tinged with, well, rather not tinged, rather very viscerally reminding us that things are broken when apparently there has to be a delay because of a suspicious package on Remembrance Day and some shitheaded anti-vaxxers stealing the mic during what's supposed to be a solemn moment of remembrance for the dead that allowed them to have the freedom to be a petulant man-child. It is so fucking sad and pathetic, and it is definitely what's bothering me today.